All right, let's get started. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday night live Facebook. This is your host here, Martin Wong. And tonight, our attempt to share with you why the KLCI is not rallying like what we saw in the US immediately after the Trump second term victory, which is he will be the 47th President of the United States. But of course, you can catch more of it through our last week on the Facebook that we did before and some of the reason behind it. But tonight we will also dwell a little bit more into the aftermath, what we have seen so far. And of course, all this information, it's good planning ahead of the US market as well as the Malaysian market, and also some of my input that I'll see. Now, of course, our company, Trade VSA, is the Malaysian first digital investment advisor license provider. All right. So tonight, our sharing will be why Bursa is not rallying like the US market. What's really happening now? And if you look back in the historical Bursa Malaysian market, the year end, generally we will find some so-called trending up, right? But this year, maybe following the exceptional. Now, why I say this is because we are seeing the market lacking the kind of or catalyst for it to able to rally. As I said before in the breakfast show that I did on Monday, much of it is actually due to the tariff that we will be facing in the 2025 when Trump is sworn in as the president in here. But also, I will talk a bit about the Trump first term benefit, which Bursa sector in the 2016 and 2020, and also going ahead with a couple of stocks that we can look ahead and trading the US ETF as well as the US sector with our Pentagon Guider. So let's get started. A little bit of summary. Now, why Bursa market is not rallying after the Trump victory in here? I think some of you who've been a follower would have known what I do talk about. Definitely one of them is the structural economic issue that we always generally have as a country. Yeah, so these are no secret. As I said before, this is something that a lot of the ASEAN country is also facing, which is the structural economic issue, and our workforce is also not as so-called highly sought after. I mean, it is highly sought after, but we get many of them actually work in Singapore. But what I'm talking about, the workforce labor that are engineering based to build that high value, high product. Now, many of our industry in Malaysia are still depending on high labor, all right, and that is also a prevailing trend over the last 5 to 10 years. But with the new Malaysian government, Madami, coming in, and they are attempting to address this too. So structural issues usually take some time to to resolve this in here. And one way is also look into the number of IPO company that is listed in our KLCI market. And this year, 2024, has been relatively not too bad. And that's why we see the KLCI is up 9% so far in here. And of course, another one is the foreign fund flows. We will see a lot of the foreign institutional money flowing into the ASEAN country. They just don't flow into ASEAN country. They actually go over to Singapore. They go over to Jakarta. I mean, into Indonesia. We go over to Thailand, and then finally they will decide whether Malaysia is one of the more optimal area to be based on the valuation. And then finally, it's also the market breadth and the market depth. If you look at the KLCI, mainly the top 30 shares that are moving, and all the top 30 shares, the finance stocks are the ones just holding up in here. If you look at the weekly market breadth that I sent to my members, you can see we are really in a bearish mode, almost 0.5% ratio, the number of stocks that is above 200 moving average over below 200 moving average, between almost more than 50% of the stocks are trading below 200-day moving average. You can see that is already in. Now, let's take a look at the first term of Trump from 2016 to 2021. Definitely, the very famous thing Trump has always been about is the Trump policies and the continuing tariff war, which will continue going into 2025 to 2030. All right, 2025 to 2030, that will be the continuing war that you've seen. Whether it would exacerbate, make it worse, or make it better, yet to be seen. But of course, the Trump tariff with China tends to benefit Malaysia. Many of you or members already know, and this is also due to many of the manufacturing used to be in China will end up coming into Malaysia, benefiting a lot of our northern corridor and also southern corridor. Right now, you have seen that. So those are the infrastructure that has already been planned in. But if you look in terms of the stock market, all right, you could see from 2016 onwards, it first came in January 6, that you could see the KLCI market didn't really perform so well, all right. 2016 we were down minus 0.5%, just sort of more. Only 2017 we have a slight better movement. We have 4 months of rallying in here, and then the market sort of moved sideways. And the December month, 4.6% in here. Then 2018, the tariff war started more intense, and that's why we saw the 5%, and also and of course 2019 we all know the beginning of the COVID. Okay, towards the December, COVID came in and the market dropped some more. 2020, the first 3 months was big COVID, what we call the big COVID sweep. And of course, market stimulus came in, technology came in, and then the market barely rally. Of course, US, we've seen the market actually gone up more than 20%, but for our KLCI market for year 2020 was only up 3%. So that is actually, in my opinion, a rather dismay performance of the KLCI under the first Trump presidential election. And of course, Trump, with his very famous America First policies, is to shift a lot of the interest back to the United States, America first. So that's where you get a lot of the investment flowing back. And you will also see since November 7, this month, since Trump won the second term, and you can see a lot of foreign funds actually leave, not only Malaysia, but also Singapore, Indonesia, and Thailand. They actually leave. More so for Malaysia. Singapore is less. Later on, I'll just show you, if I have time, that the STI continue to make upwards. And of course, things that may not impact the KLCI are the stricter immigration and visa policies. All right. Now, what I want to show you next is the Trump first term. Now, if you look back in 2016, which is here, as soon as Trump brought in, we were around 3.8, shot up to 2016. Did test back lower, but you can see the overall trend. Let me just bring out the pen here. All right, 2016 is here. Okay, this is where Trump comes in, and to 2021. So it did hit 4.46, but most of the time it was around 4.3, 4.2. And then when Biden came in, the market moved back up to this level here. All right, so Biden moved up, and you can see we are around to 4.46. So right now, we are already at 4.46. So the market is already starting to price in. With Trump, many of his tariff policies, the US dollar will continue to strengthen in here. So make no mistake, that's why I've been telling a lot of the members as well as the public, you can only start to get into the US shares, try to think longer term, because many of the US policies will benefit Malaysia, right, in the longer term, because of the tariff ongoing, where Chinese product will be imposed 60% tariff, but Malaysia is getting 10 to 20%. No one escapes, right? No country will escape. As if you are selling to the United States, you will not escape this, all right? Now, if you have any question in there, feel free to pencil in some of the question here. Now, if you look at since the 7th of November, all right, which is here, 8th of November, and out of the last 2 weeks, we only had one occasion of positive foreign fund buying. These are the foreign fund flows. You could see as soon as the Trump won the presidential election in here, the market really moved on the other side. And of course, in the early July and August, where the tech stocks really rally, and we saw a huge movement of foreign funds flows, which is generally you will get this too, the up to about 600 million, and then we saw the market actually top high at that time. That was the highest, and since then the market sort of mellowed down. Many of the funds has eventually flow back to the US as we see right now. So for the most part of the last 3 months, you could see foreign funds really flowing out. That's why you see the red the red vertical bars that depicts the foreign funds outflow, right? This is something you will get on the VSA 360 for some of the members who have subscribed this, okay? And of course, this in turn, what I talk about, the market depth and market breadth, okay? Now, like it or not, the KLCI in terms of the market cap, this is a slide from Dr. Wealth. It just tells you we are not the biggest, we are number 4, okay? The biggest is still Indonesia, followed by Singapore, and then by Thailand. Malaysia has really fallen back behind. Now we are just above Philippine Stock Exchange at 300 million, and also Vietnam Stock Exchange, but the number of education and the number of people involved, including some of the listeners in here, are much bigger than some. It's just that the amount that really circulating in the market cap seems to be smaller and smaller. And I do hope, for the sake of the market, we don't fall too far behind as a regional player in terms of the large market share, because this will dictate the overall industry of the stock market here, okay? Any questions so far, the listeners? If you do, just pencil in there, else I'm just going to move on. Now we'll be using the VSA 360 as part of the Trade VSA, the tools that we have, our Pentagon Guider as well as our Smart Robbie. We do have the buy call and sell call as being a licensed digital investment, so I'll also share you with that. So we will be looking at the Bursa KLCI, we're looking at the sector and US market weeks, and also this week analyst pick, but in this case will be the US stock pick. All right, so the first one we want to look at is the US wicks. Okay, now US wicks, like it or not, the higher number around the 24th January will tell you there are a lot of fear, but right now this market is very complacent, so around the 16 mark, and it does paint a picture. The market is likely to go further down, trending just below 200-day moving average, which means the US Dow Jones or the Nasdaq is likely to hit higher, because there is no fear in the market, because everybody is very receptive to the business policy that Trump will be putting. Everything will point to just, when money talks, business talks, stock market flows. All right, those are the so-called trend or momentum going forward where we are seeing right now. Okay, now we're going to be looking at the major KLCI. So let me just bring this up firstly and make it a bit smaller, then you can see it better in here. So the first one we want to look at is the FKLI, where the market is. Now if you look in terms of the KLCI, it is doing pretty weak. All right, now for start, it is already trading below the 200-day moving average. Now in the past, we tested it in August when we have the major sell-off. The market rebounded back to retest it again. Now, all things being equal, we should not go lower than this 200-day moving average. Having said that, should it go lower, then that paints a very bleak for the remaining 1.5 months. Okay, so what we have right now is another 1 month, and by any coincidence, if we look back last year in December, all right, where we were in November, the market didn't go anywhere. Just moved sideways. After January, the market moved up. So very similar, as I said early on the beginning, we're just going to have this market moving sideways, even going below 200-day moving average, as we have seen just now. The foreign funds continue to flow out. So that is the picture that we have, and we will also maintain this so-called 9.2%. Maybe last 4 days we will get some rally, then it just pops up to 10%, right? If it's not, it's just going to remain around this level, 8 to 9%, to give a very good picture that the KLCI didn't do so bad. So a lot of the institutional will still be holding this level that we see in here, but no surprises, as I mentioned to the members and also to our Smart Robi users in here. I don't think we're going to go any higher than what we see 1670 in here. And of course, all this you can blame it to Trump, or next year you can say our market rally is also due to the Trump tariff impact or implication due to Chinese businesses moving their manufacturing over to this side of the world. All right, next is we'll be looking at the Dow Jones. Okay, so let's look at the Dow Jones. Now, as I said before, Dow Jones, looking at the weeks, they're really not much of a fear. Okay, now this little bit of sell-off that we see in the last few days was they were expecting, now the big move, this was the Trump win. The big move, this is a natural pullback, was they were expecting a December rate cut. Now, of course, you have seen that December rate cut may not come so soon, as the Jerome Powell FOMC are reacting to inflation that actually turned higher for the month of October. Okay, for the month of October, inflation actually turned higher, so he was not just so keen to cut the interest rate as well. That's why we see the market actually move lower back. But right now you have a spring here, which is a very strong so-called to hold the downtrend in here, and I do think tonight the market will rally up. So the market will usually come back out and test. So the next one we're going to be looking at will be S&P 500. Now, of course, the members in here, or any of you have any stocks that you want me to look at, feel free to pencil those in there, or I'm happy to. Now, very similar to, you can see how much it is above the 200-day moving average here. So what you see right now, same thing, market sell-off, third red Pentagon already, right? But it didn't have a follow-through, and it bounced off above the 20-day moving average, or at least the 40-day moving average, and we've seen 3 bars in here. So S&P 500 is up almost 24%, which is actually a norm, right? Usually S&P 500 in the US market, out of 3 to 5 years, they are up almost 20%. All right, keep in mind the S&P 500, it's something that you want to look further for your longer term. Buying the ETF, it's no so-called no secret. Yeah, so this is where we're going to see a bit up movement. Then next, finally, we'll go to the Nasdaq, which is the technology heavy. Again, this one is at 22%, right? Of course, S&P 500, almost 60% of it are heavily biased towards the technology stock. The big sell-off here was where the news of no interest rate cuts that's happening in December, so we saw that market came back down. But we have a spring market now is looking for new leads to be able to go higher, and I think it will come tonight and the remaining of the month. The market generally will rally for the December 2020, and that's why they call it the Christmas rally. All right. Now, next we're going to look at is a whole different picture. We've done the Nasdaq, is the Hang Seng market. Hang Seng market has taken a beating as you know the relationship has turned remorse between United States and also China, pending on the Trump winning, right? So that thing has sort of reversed to the not so good news lah. Okay, so you can see on Trump winning, which is November 8, they were looking for perhaps Biden or Kamala legacy continue from then onwards, but it didn't happen. The market had a 2-bar reversal, and since then sort of tapered down. It didn't go lower. Having said that, that was partly due to the China throwing some 20 or more billion to market stimulus. But right now you're seeing a lot of strength in this market. You can see test and another test here. So that means this is a very good support around the 19,611 in here. And of course, depending on any of stimulus, the market can go up. But I do think that Hang Seng will hold at this level. The same also go for Malaysia. Now, if you look back last year for Hang Seng, we go back and we go back. You can see pretty much of December, it just moved sideways. Right? It just moved sideways. So I would think it's very similar right now with this. This market just going to move sideways from here onwards. Okay? So let's look at the currency. Now, generally, I was telling you, right? Trump's first term was what really sparked the strengthening of the US dollar. When Biden came in for the second term, that continues also in the same direction. Now with the projection that we're getting on, you could see early on it was at 4.27. Our ringgit to $1 US, and it's gone to 4.35. Now it's gone 0.444, and the latest is 4.47. Now pay attention also on this side, which is the US one. Okay, you can see the US has broken way up above the 200-day moving average. Okay, so it's broken up above the 200. We are just a bit more. If we do break up and similar what we see for the Chinese, we should hit 4.5 to 4.55 within the next 1 or 2 months. Okay, so that's the direction that we are heading up. Is because when China print more money, okay, to stimulate the market, and the dilution or the devalue of the Chinese yuan will bring our ringgit weaker. Okay, so that's giving you some information for heads up, so you guys will know where we are leading to here. Okay, now looking at the seasonality for the VSA 360, the December month generally is the most strongest one. Okay, so right now we are at 0.03. We are looking for positive November closing, maybe just less than 1%, but the December rally may come. And sometimes it comes after Christmas, just the last 3 days where everybody goes on holiday. The foreign, the local institutional do window dressing. This is something that many of you may already hear before, and I keep reminding you right now in November, the window dressing is a normal phenomenon where they dress up to push it up so it looks tidy and look nice for their reporting that the KLCI, in this case now it's 9.9, they will all break it up to 10%, 10.5, 10.2. Then they say Malaysia is a good country to come in, but if you can see overall, the market hasn't been easy. Haven't been easy. We got a couple of good months, July and August, and also maybe April. Then other than that, the market just gone to sleep. Okay, so this is the reality of the market. Okay, I think many of our audience may have known this. All right, now let's go into our trade VSA buy call. We started this first time ever since we got our DIM, so this is something new session I want to share with you in here. So let's take a look at the first buy call that we have was on the 11th of November. Okay, so let me just pull it down and see how well we have done. Not all the stocks have done well, of course. So we got our deep. Where did it go? So let me just switch back to the normal. No pen first, to my pointer, laser pointer. Okay, here we are. So let's go to first one is ABMB. So ABMB, yeah, the market did go up. So I gotta string this some more, else you cannot see. Okay, maybe what I do, I'll push this a bit. I'll push this to this end. That's right. So you can see that just on top of me here. All right, and pull it a bit more, string it a bit more here. Oh, it doesn't look like it's gonna string from here. I think that's the smallest I can get. Okay, what I have to do with that. So the buy call was anything below 4 497. Okay, so you could have got it in here. First TP target price 947. I think we did touch it here. Buy call usually means buy below. Okay, or you can go for 530, which will be a long way to come. The stop loss is at 440. Okay, which is somewhere down here. Okay, so that one's okay. Next one we have is MGB. MGB is a construction company. All right, now this stock paints another different picture. You can see it did turn red pentagon, down minus 0.6 when it was up, mark up at 1, but then there were no liquidity. All right, this kind of stock sometimes right now it is closing back here very close to the cut loss point, minus 775, but it is mid cap stock around 450, small cap stock, I would say. Right, there's not much of liquidity. You can see this kind of no bias, and that's generally one of the real concern, is to avoid this kind of stocks that has no bias mode here, because it's algorithm driven. So it's important that the trader be aware. All right. Next we have Pet Gas, which is a really large cap stock. So you can see from here, that was on the Pet Gas was on the 8, is valid until 13. Now you want to buy below 1777, okay, and the stop loss will be 1721. So you got in here. This was 0.91. Yeah, it's still pretty much there. THS. Okay, THS. This was buying below 118. You can see from here. Let me just move this a bit. Okay, 118. I can't. It's really a challenge to just get this. Okay, I'll move it to this side. Yeah, then you can see better. Okay, so THS is 118, which is at this level, buy below 118, because green pentagon here 118. If you could get in at 117, that'd be great. First TP 117. Okay, because the whole point, we want you to buy below 118. Right? If TP1 is too low, you can go for TP2, which is 125. And I think you just short of it, 123 only. Hit 123, and the market since then is back to 118. Right? So there were big moves, 2%, and then every big move, you got sellers coming in on very low. You see, you can see here is a very low sell-off in here. So generally, that's a really good thing, because there are a lot of profit taking around here. So the market gaps up. Next is UMCCA. Okay, now UMCCA is again a very good call. So you can see buy below 520. Anything below 520, this level is good. The market did go up. Here was 1%, and again, because plantation was the one doing well, so you can see the market actually move up here to 1.15. Okay. So those are the market that we have for the Malaysian side. Okay, so we also look at some new ones this week. So this week, new one, we have VStack. Let's take a look at VStack, which is technology. Right, and then you can see from here, you can use the TP1, TP2 as your guide. Okay. So it's gone up, down, up 3%. Okay, good. Buy below 375. Okay, this is 371, green pentagon. All right, so generally we want to make this available to eventually to any of our customers. All right, so now it's 382. It's already exceeded the call area. Okay, 375, because TP1 will be 395 and TP2 will be 422. Okay, UUE. That was a call on the 19 last Friday. Okay, next one is this one is okay. UUE. Okay, UUE is buying below 77 cents, so this one is okay. Okay, so you can see trade below the 77 1 share, 79 half, and 845 share. Okay, we got UEM. UEM also okay. Today is down 2%. I think there's an earning came out, right? We will see how the earning will be affected by it. But there's a stop loss around the, what is the stop loss here? UEM is at 96 cents, okay? Very close. 96 cents will be at this level here, all right? This support level in here. Okay, we got also Naim. So Naim was okay. You can see this would be 114, so it's okay. Buy below 114. TP1 will be 122 and so forth. Hello Nora. Good evening. Good of you to come and support us. Amazon has retracement. Yeah, let's take a look at it. Okay. Okay, good. See, yeah. All right, so the rest you can take a look at it, but I'm going to share with you with some US too. Okay, US. But meanwhile, since we are at the Amazon, maybe we'll just show you about Amazon. Now, Amazon, yes, it is retracement, but take note, it is red pentagon right now. So you just need to wait until the green pentagon. Use Smart Roby, look at it every day. When you see a green pentagon, even, you know, the night before, you can just go in on that one. You see green pentagon, and even though it's red, right, you can see, right, but it didn't follow here. But right now, if it's red, just wait for it to turn green. Okay, so it's not that difficult to use the chart that we have. Okay, last week for the US sector, let's take a look at them. We have CMG Chipotle. All right, Chipotle turned green pentagon, but it was a 2-bar reversal. And you can see, let me just move to here. Okay, stop loss at $54. Still sideways. Okay, then we have now has gone back up to 1025. Okay, and now is at 1000. Yeah, $733 will be the stop loss. Okay, call price is below 1060, so 735. Well, that's way down, man. Okay, 735, it's a very long far down there for their stop loss. Okay, then we have STZ. So STZ was a call early on the 11th of November. All right, and since then the stock has stop loss at 238, just below here. Right, so you can see 238, which is not too bad, and 238 will be somewhere around here. Yeah, 238. Entry price will be 256. Anything below 256. Okay. Okay, so this was last week. Then we have PPL, which is a utility company that did pretty well. Okay, PPL, and that was a call on the $33. It's gone up to, okay, so that buy below $33 and 82 cents, and since then it's gone up to 34, and I think it's going to hit TP1 soon, right? TP2 is $37 and the stop loss is at $27. Okay, stop loss at $27. Okay, let's take a look this week for some new stocks. For the US market, we have EIX, we have Duke. These are utilities, and we have industrial. Consumer is CL. I think it's Colgate Palmolive. Yeah, EIX. or Edison International. Yeah, this was on the 18th. It came out on the 18th. Yeah, 18 was a Monday, and since then the market has sort of moved up. 19, so you can see 18, 19 here. Okay, then you got Duke. This is a oil company. Yep, picking up also. Buy below 118. Cannot close smaller than this. Yeah, finally waiting. Buy below 118, and TP and stop loss is 100 there. Okay. Okay, so take a look at this, screenshot it, go back and check it out. These are the buy call, and of course next week we're going to come back and look at it and see how far it will move up. Generally, some of the stocks will move around the 3 to 4% kind of range in here. Okay. So for our Bursa market, just now I've shared with you, right? Let's go through them again. For Bursa will be, yeah, VStack, UEE, UEMX, SysTac, Salute, Naim, and Miko. Alright, so definitely we will look at them next week. Okay, rewatch this video again. So emotional market for KLCI market, it's really uncertainty and moving sideways. Okay, the fact is, I think we are still in the stage 4, right, for the KLCI, and if it were to break further, we have more solid downtrend if the market were to break down. But I think the 200-day moving average is holding up, so that's where the market will be. All right, so what we've seen so far were all powered by Pentagon Guider. All right, and Bursa, as I said before, no change from last week. We still want to look for the year-end rally, maybe just the 3 days only after Christmas. We'll see that kind of rally. All right, use Pentagon Guider as a guide, like just now Shaya talks about the Amazon. All right, so use that as a guide. Wait for the green Pentagon, and then trade over to the US, and we will see the weakening ringgit. So that's all we have. Our membership for VSA 360 is still open, but I do encourage many of our members to subscribe and turn on your Smart Robi monthly pass for 9 ringgit 90 cents. All right, so that's all we have. Join our Telegram chat room in here, and I'll be back next Monday for our Smart Robi show. That's all we have. Thank you and good night. If you want me to look at any stocks like just now, I'll be happy to look at.